I've done it again. I left Fuji once again at the altar. I promised a lifetime together I make a mean pancake. You don't want to wake up without me next to you. I left Fuji one more time. I may have switched to Micro Four Thirds, we can't guarantee it. Let me tell you why one might do such things.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
We're on the Canon R5C, borrowed again from Camera Canada because of its reliable autofocus, unsurpassed in most villages. Or are we on that at all? It's not the GH6, is it? Oh boy. It has been a whirlwind afternoon for me. So many plot twists took place. So I have sold my Fuji XH2s finally after like a month and a half of trying to sell it. I loved the thing. Don't get me wrong. I wrote some things down, some reasons why you might err on the side of caution buying that one. But I do love it and I am open to returning again to it. Right now we're on the Panasonic GH6 with the Olympus 12mm Tony-2. Because Leica 9mm are not in stock anywhere. Autofocus perfection is being witnessed by all. Panasonic color science, a thing of the past, now beyond Canon color science is what we have now. Now the Fuji look is something I loved. Or was it? Looking at it now, I'm like, what's up with the red face? I thought it was better than it is. Panasonic is the one that steals my heart now. Oh, where's he going? But Fuji colors, they're a strange beast. You love them one day and then you're like, what the hell is this gimmicky vintage shit? I don't know, man. I love them and then hate them the next day. Just as an A7S III owner, it is tough to recommend the Fuji over it. And the first reason that I wrote down was the abysmal 240 frames per second. I have not mentioned it yet on the channel, but it is so disappointing and noisy. I'm doubting we're getting much better here, but it could be, and that was the chance I was willing to take. So playing right now, 240 frames, is it better? Is it super distracting noisy? Let us hope it isn't, but it could be, and we have to be prepared for that. But we also get 300 frames on the Panny Boy, but one devastating, deal-breaking flaw. I just realized it. I was singing the praise of this pixel-to-pixel mode, where you can shoot in 4K 120p, HD 240, and it punches in on the sensor to a 1-to-1 readout. So this is a 5.3K sensor. To do 4K 120p, it's like 1.5 times crop roughly, but you're not losing any quality. Yes, tinier sensor. And if you want to do HD 240p, you're in here, so you're getting like a 2.5 times crop, like unbelievable wildlife advantage potentially. Just found out it does not work in 240 frames per second. I thought it did because I clicked it last time I had the Panasonic. I was like, boom, pixel to pixel. What I didn't realize, however, was that me clicking the pixel to pixel booted my ass out into 120p HD. So goodbye super crop in 240. Can't do it at all in 300. The second reason I abandoned Fuji was the autofocus was unreliable, so I had to switch to Panasonic. We're on a manual focus lens right now, not because I need to be. You were seeing it. It was perfect. Laowa 7.5mm Tony-2. I was hoping the first two lenses that we're using now will be replaced by the Leica 9mm 1.7. They're not in stock though. That's fun. Now don't get me wrong here, Fuji autofocus vastly improved. It will now only embarrass you maybe once a video. It's, for most part, it's like right there, but when you want to actually do things outside and there's variables and different lighting and hopefully it'll catch this person. It won't. It didn't. My Sony, we all know Sony's magical, but when I did that slow-mo street videography thing, there were times where I'm like afraid to look at the person, so I'm like filming them, not even looking at my camera, and Sony just latches on with perfection. Like, I don't think Not one shot was out of focus in all my shots. Not one was unusable due to focus. Some were bad framing because I'm like pointing this way, not even looking. Even then, it was pretty good. So like doing that with the Fuji, I just tried it once and almost everybody was out at some point. So it's like compared to Sony that I can rely on, why do I have this second body? It was only for YouTube videos that because it failed at wildlife and the animal eye detect, that wasn't working. Will this be much worse? Probably, but I had to see for myself. It might be so stable and fun or terrible, I don't know. I'm not sure what the grand total I've just spent on Micro Four loser technology, but it was a lot, but a fantastic deal, pounce worthy beyond your wildest dreams. We got the Leica 200mm prime versus the 50 to 200 coming. I can't believe how much lighter this thing is. Like you know it would be, but it's literally half the weight. What you're witnessing right now is what should have been. This would have been my first lens for the Panasonic G85, and we could have had this the whole time. We never would have needed anything better. And I know the autofocus has my back. Panasonic has changed. Contrast detect autofocus is actually the future. It did not hunt to the back and then come to me like it used to. It went straight to me. There's no pulsing. It looked like that painting came in focus for a split second, but that's the illusion that depth from defocus technology gives you. Now, when it comes to lenses, this was the thing, surprisingly. Fuji's last wide-angle prime was the 14mm 2.8. 2014. They are not doing anything in this arena. On the roadmap, there was something like an 8mm 3.5 outside for a vlog. Okay, you sold me. I would do that myself. In fact, it might be lightweight and super fun. I want it. But like, I kind of want an all-in-one. I can vlog and do YouTube studio stuff. When it's 3.5 on an aps-c in your studio, I don't know about that, man. So like, you're bad. So the options right now were the Zeiss 12mm Tony 2.8 or the Viltrox 13mm 1.4. I compared them. I decided that the Zeiss has more 3D pop, but the autofocus motors weren't quite right, and the lack of tone kind of hurts. And then the Viltrox was kind of the better lens, had more tone, much cheaper, better stabe, better autofocus. But it lacks the character. It doesn't have the 3D pop that I need. Nobody needs it. I understand that, all right? Just go on with your Tamron zoom. Is this in the shot? It totally was. Oh, that's a bitch. Oh, man. So I'm just waiting. If Fuji releases something like a 12mm 1.4, I could come back to your system, but until then, there's nothing fun to shoot on. 18mm, it's a bit tight. All right, I have a couple more points why I left Fuji for Panasonic, but we must discuss them outside for a little vlog test. Can I run across streets in 300 frames per second? Has it ever been done? It's gonna be done now. 300 frames of glory, my friend. That might have been fun. Probably a little wobbly with this Laowa. That's why I brought this. I wanted to see if Panasonic has somehow fixed the warpy corners. Who's that? Is it better? Because if it is, we got some. I think I'm at 25,000th of a shutter. Is that even... How? I thought it went up to like 8,000 maybe. Is my battery life almost dead? I've made half a video. It's half a video, battery life. Uh-oh. So when it comes to lenses, Fuji boy, I love your lenses, yes. But the telephoto, the 100 to 400, which was my favorite wildlife lens, you're not traveling with that. I wouldn't bring it. Although, I think I would bring that Leica 200mm with me, and it's roughly the same weight. Maybe 100 grams less. So that's kind of weird, but I will compare the 50 to 200. That's the travel lens. That's what I'm debating. Which one of those do I keep? It can't be both. That would be so dumb. They're both 200mm. Come on now. But I might, like, you want to travel with the 50 to 200, and then for the ultimate quality, you get... I can't believe the Panasonic dynamic range. Dynamic range boost mode, and we're just full HD. That's all you need. All you need. One reason you might not like your Fuji camera is the preamps will annoy your audience. I was getting so many comments saying, what's with the hissy audio all video long? What's going on here? That's Fuji preamps for you. They still haven't fixed it. The cameras that are acceptable are Sony, Panasonic, none others. Basically, from what we've confirmed. Let's switch to the 12mm, see if autofocus can hang. May the Panasonic gods be with us this night. Now don't you waver once, Panty Boy. Show once and for all that contrast detection is the future, and you will now accept donations for stocks. That brings us to another point. Fuji IBIS. Painful. I don't want to gloat here, but this is likely good for you right now. It better be. It's kind of heavy, that body. It's like 836 grams. There's no full frame camera on the market that even weighs more. If I was actually vlogging, I'd be tapping, locking, set, and now I'm out of focus, but always in right here, right? And then it would never hunt, and now you got the best stable. No hunting whatsoever. Panty Boy, welcome back. Backlit, and here's where Panty Boy struggles. Little magical backlight. Sorry, we don't know what to do here. Contrast detect all the way. But yeah, Fuji IBIS, man, it's just... I don't know if they'll ever get it. It's not even like a huge sensor that they have to move. Panasonic full frame IBIS is better. Every company seems to be a little better. Sony with their active stable full frame, totally usable. Whereas Fuji is just like so jittery. I don't understand it. And then you get wildlife and it's like a tripod. It's like, how are you that good in telephoto and so bad in wide to medium angles? But then you move once on that telephoto and it's jerks catching up. You don't want jerks to catch up to you. I felt insulted by the XH2 release that had better IBIS in video and likely better 240 frames per second without the stacked sensor noise agenda. I just, like, how do you do that? Same with the G9. It debunked the GH5 for video pretty hard, and now you're kind of doing that, and the XH2 gets the pixel to pixel mode thing cropped in. I know that because Gerald Undone showed us with the lens cap on, and that's how we could judge the quality, and I saw an increase in quality of the blackness, and I appreciate that. So for wildlife, I could have been doing that. Maybe not, probably not in anything above 24p, but they allowed you to do something. Okay, last kind of deal breaker about the Fuji before we get out of here. My battery light's flashing. I can't even make one video on the GH6. The cost of the Fuji system, especially the 2S, that's a bit much, and that will come down. I felt like I got ripped off, like they were doing promotion deals after, where you get a free giant gigabyte memory card. That hurts. We're using that per gear card in here, 512 gigs. That thing works phenomenally. I highly recommend them. That's the one I would buy. They're cheap and they work. What more do you want? Now, is the GH6 cheap? No, but it's slightly cheaper than, is it even? I think it is. The lenses are cheaper, unless you're talking that prime that I bought. And not a lot of money was saved in the transaction, but we have the best stave in the business. Take that. So I'm gonna leave just first impression, little test. Terrible lighting until now. Street post ruined it though. Houses. I'll go. Cinematic, it was yours. There's fall colors. Don't act like there wasn't. They're penny boy colors. That could be a good thing, or not. I will leave. Let me know what you want to see next. 50 to 200 versus 200. 200 prime versus the Sony full frame. Is a prime Leica allowing you to compete with full frame? A lot of times ahead. Yeah, you might want to subscribe, or don't. It does sound boring. You're right. I'll leave.